Hello my global actuarial friends, corresponding to the video 3C in which I raise a very serious concern about IFoA and its examiners promoting and encouraging rote learning and mindless application among actuarial students. I have come with the video 3E. E video means exposition or explanatory videos. What is the exact question and what is my concern? I have listed it out. So if we look at the question, this is the utility function that we get. Individual A has this utility. This is of course a quadratic utility function, but due to this positive sign, this quadratic function is an upward sloping quadratic function. And since the second derivative is positive, it is beyond doubt that individual A is a risk lover individual. So the question of individual A having any sort of risk aversion simply does not arise, simply does not arise, simply does not arise. Now I want to raise the query that how many students, how many candidates out of all did write this correct answer and what treatment was meted out to them. Were they given marks? So these were the students who really understood the topic, who did not fall for rote learning and mindless application. This is the correct answer. But when we look into the examiner's report, we find an extraordinary brilliant answer which starts something like this. There is something called AW, and in order to write AW, you need the second order derivative and the first order derivative, and you need a negative sign. So anybody who has not understood that topic would not know the reason of having this negative sign. There is a specific reason why it is there. So they put this negative sign. Then they go through the rigors of rote learning, find first order derivative which turns out to be positive, and say that because A dash W is positive, so this is what we have crammed. So we declare that Mr. A has absolute risk aversion, which is increasing in nature. So with more wealth, Mr. A will be more risk averse in absolute terms, and we are not going to be deterred by the inconvenient fact that Mr. A does not have any risk aversion at all in the first place. The fact that Mr. A or individual A is risk lover is not going to deter us. So what educational standards are being established here? Where the benchmark is being set? What about the system? What about the whole team of checkers? What is the communication channel between the checkers and the examiners? Where are the checks and balances? Why this is a very grave issue is that the question does not end here. The question has many more parts. And in answer to those parts, these very same examiners do recognize the fact that individual A is risk lover. They present a situation where there is a fair gamble, and they say between individual A and individual B, who will accept this fair gamble? Now, had they applied their extraordinary brilliance a bit, they would have known that any person with any sort of risk aversion, whether it is increasing, decreasing or constant, any person with any sort of risk aversion would never ever accept a fair gamble. And individual A is seen to accept that fair gamble. And then they write a comment that alternatively, if someone referred to the nature of the individual and then commented that without calculation, if someone commented that since A is risk lover, A will accept the fair gamble, we gave marks to that person also. Not only that, as we reach the end of the question, individual A is even willing to pay a fee to be allowed to play a fair gamble, and the student is asked to calculate the maximum fee that can be charged from individual. So that means, apart from the extraordinary brilliance of rote learning and mindless application, there is another element of extraordinary brilliance involved in this solution, and that element is gross inconsistency between the answers of various parts. Now it is up to you to raise this issue, and I must tell you that video 4 is also focused on April 24 CM2A. Video 5 is also focused on April 24 CM2A. Video 6 is also focused on CM2A April 24. That paper in itself is a masterpiece of extraordinary brilliance, and its examiner report is a marvel. So You may have been a direct victim. You can raise these issues with the IFoA. Even if you are not a direct victim, you are an indirect victim. The standard of your profession, the future of your profession is at stake here. IFO must come out with this detail that how many wrote this correct answer and what happened with. Wait for the next masterpiece from the same examiner. Thank you very much.